The breasts and nipples are often a very much overlooked erogenous zone of the body. A lot of times they're fondled and sort of played with in a way that is very unconscious. One of my biggest pet peeves is having my nipples pinched constantly. It's nice to have them pinched every now and then, but having them pinched constantly just is not arousing to me. Now, every woman is going to be different, but really finding other areas that are more sensitive. The nipple area is not the most sensitive, the actual nipple itself. It's around the nipple, the areola, that is the most sensitive part of the breast. And if you warm the breast up to the touch, then there's a whole other world of sensation and actually brings a lot of erotic energy or erotic sensation right into the nipples, which is where they can be more sensitive. So what I recommend is sort of spiraling in toward the breast so that you're spiraling. Your intention is actually to spiral the energy in towards the center and towards the nipple. And you can do this just by lightly touching around the entire breast area. So you're lightly touching, drawing it in towards the nipple, but not touching the nipple. So this is really important, the not touching the nipple, because it's almost like a tease. You really want to tease the area, lightly stroking. You can also use your hand sort of in a cup shape and not to squeeze too hard. Again, women are very different, and you're going to find that depending upon where they are at in their cycle, that this will also vary, because some women can get very sore in their breasts and nipples during their menstrual cycle, and depending upon where that is, they may have different amounts of pleasure as well. So they may have really high amounts of pleasure. So also communicating about that. So spiraling in towards the nipple. After you've done that a number of times and maybe kneaded the breast a little, again, not too hard, really being aware of where she's at on her threshold of pleasure. So you can also use like your fingertips or like the spokes of a wheel, and you're just twisting your wrist, massaging again in towards the nipple but not touching the nipple. Really teasing. You almost want to get her to the point where she just can't stand it and she really wants you to touch the nipple. And then you can surprise her by lightly taking your nails and scratching them over the nipple and then rubbing your palms. So it's as if you're rubbing the palms just over the nipple area. And that just feels exquisite, just this light, barely touching the nipple over. So you're rubbing the palm over the nipple. Really, really exquisite sensation there. And then you can move into lightly pinching. You can actually do a massage where, say this is the nipple, you're pulling up like this, through the middle and to the sides, pulling up on the nipple. Another great thing is actually stretching the breast. It actually helps restore and bring more blood flow into the nipple. So you can take and hold the nipples, pull them out, have her take a deep breath in. Hold the stretch as she exhales. Again, deep breath in. Hold the stretch, exhale, and then release. And what you'll notice is that the nipple actually filled with blood and got quite harder and larger in size. Another thing is doing some self-breast massage. If you do circles around your breast, you actually keep them healthier, and you can, in some places, they say in Tantra, you can actually increase your breast size by rubbing in circles. In Taoism, they're called the deer exercises, and you go in both directions. And this keeps the breast very healthy. They say to do this about 108 times a day. You can also do this with something called shatavari ghee, which is a clarified butter with an herb mixed in. And actually, I know someone who does this every day, and they keep their breasts just amazing. I mean, her breasts are the most amazing breasts I've ever seen from rubbing this on her breasts every day, doing just self-love, you know, self-exploration of your own breasts and keeping your breasts really healthy. It also helps break down scar tissue and fibrous cystic things that are going on within the breast that aren't so healthy. So another thing that can be really great is adding in also sucking or kissing of the nipples while doing massage of the breast. So you can use both hands, and if you're kneading, also sucking on the nipple lightly. Sucking on the nipple for about 15 minutes can actually produce a lot of oxytocin in a woman's body. It's actually good for both the men and the woman because it produces all this oxytocin. Oxytocin is the bonding chemical or the love chemical. So you're producing these feelings of love for one another in the body through sucking on nipples. Another really great technique that brings in a lot of pleasure is sucking on the nipple where your tongue is underneath the nipple. So if this is the nipple, your tongue is underneath it. So you're going to lift it up and then lick very fast. You're rapidly licking with the tip of your tongue underneath the nipple. And this is highly pleasurable, so you may sometimes women have fluid come out of their breasts, like an orgasm coming from the breasts when you do this technique. It's also very restorative for the breasts, so if there's breast health issues going on, this can be something that's very vital and helps to restore a woman's breast structure and bring more health into this area. And you want to make her feel like you're just not going for her nipples. There is a whole entire breast here, and all of it is erogenous tissue. So really taking your time to awaken all of this tissue. Another type of orgasm, which is having an orgasm actually in your breasts, in your nipples, and feeling that through the entire chest. So I really invite you to play either self-pleasuring your own breasts or having your partner really teaching them, or taking time with your partner just to explore this area, the entire area, really teasing and then going for the nipple and playing in all different sorts of ways, using your mouth, your fingers, your tongue, and really going deep into an exploration of how the heart is connected to the breast and how much pleasure can you bring into this area of the body. I invite you, how much pleasure can you bring into this part of the body?